I'm Rich Conrady, I'm a technician for Diamond Products, and this is our WS50 High-Cycle Wire Saw. Runs off of 460 volt 3-phase power. Basically, you can run it off a 60 kilowatt generator or house power, whichever. The system's set up for direct drive in the back and secondary motor in the front. So basically, you would string the machine and draw very little pulling power. It is a pneumatic cylinder for the pull. Basically, your advantage to that is that you can maintain a low feed pressure for the pneumatic air circuit. The top stacks basically will do 86 feet total pull. So you've got inside the machine 16 feet of wire is your initial stringing. So you have 70 feet of take up on the wire. Going through the storage, the upper stacks, this is your storage stack here, this is your diverter stack here. Anytime you make a wrap on the unit, you set up off of the storage stack in the back, and then you go to the front output pulley and basically adjust it here to whichever pulley it is coming off the storage. Being that it's pneumatic, there is a dampening system that's built in, so if the wire gets hung up or snags, it automatically allows a little bit of cushion to it so you don't snap the wire. Coming around to the back side here, you can see our two 25 horsepower drive motors. They are water cooled, so you have water coming into the control station and water coming from the control station to the wire saw. It goes through a cooling system here, cooling sleeves on both the motors, and then comes out and goes to your tool, to the wire. The only maintenance items on this are grease fittings on the carriage system, and then on the drive systems themselves there will be a spline adapter that fits in between the load adapter and the motor. The load adapter is going to be right behind the motor, and that's going to be attached with 4 bolts from the front side. So the drive wheels are aluminum. The drive wheel is 2-piece, so it comes apart. These bolts here come out. It separates so you can have easy access to replace the drive liners, front and rear. Okay, so now we are going to basically go through stringing the machine. Once we have our machine situated where we want it, basically where we've got it sitting right here, I have 2 pulleys set on the wall, and we will line this up at 90 degrees. The reason being for that is because the top wheel is adjustable, so if you're making a longer pull, then as you do wraps, this has to be moved out depending on which storage wheel you're coming off of, as I discussed earlier. So if availability to position the machine at 90 degrees to the cut is not possible, the machine can also be positioned in any location around. Essentially what you want to do is once the machine is in position, then you would anchor it on the front points here. So this is a 15/16. You lower these down until it basically stops. You do not want to pull the machine off the wheels. You just want to lower the stabilizer until it's stationary. Ideally, you want to use a 1/2 inch, either a wedge anchor or a drop-in to secure this on the front and on the rear. So I've got our pulleys mounted to the wall. We're going to string the wire through the pulleys. we've already got the machine lined up with the pulley, so we can come over here. The pull side is on the bottom, so we are going to take and string that. And the wire goes in through the outer pulley, through number 1 primary drive, down the secondary drive, under the tensioning wheel, up through, we're going to go around the initial storage wheel. We're going to go up to the diverter wheel. Okay. So we're diverter number 1. Okay, so through our diverter. Storage wheel 2. So once we have it on our second storage wheel, we can either keep going or we could take it out of the machine. The way I've got it set it up, we're going to take it out of the machine right now. So this just goes through our sleeve here on the exit and then out of the machine. So now we've got the machine strung, we're going to go ahead and connect our wire. The type of connector I'm using here is the hinge type. Basically it's a swivel connector with a locking pin. I'm going to put the pin into the connector and lock it in place. I'm using my tool. And the pin should be flush on the connector. Now we've got a good connection here. We're ready to go on to our next step. Okay, our next step, now that we have the wire strung and set to go, we're going to connect the wire saw to our control unit. We already have our cables strung out, ready to go. They are color coded. Blue connector and red connector. One thing, when you go to check the connectors, you want to make sure that all the pins are in the same positioning. None of them is pushed back. There's no type of slurry or any obstruction in there. If there is, you can use an electrical contact cleaner to clean it off. Blue goes to blue. Red goes to red. Okay, now we have our power on, so we're going to go to our main disconnect and turn that on. Now when we do, we will see a series of tests going through, and we should read 0 amps motor 1, 0 amps motor 2, and 0 wire speed. Selecting the wire speed would be potentiometer on the right hand side. That's always set at 0. We have our emergency stop here. To deactivate that, we just turn it. We have our main start button, main stop button. The motors all have temperature sensors. So you have lights on the dashboard for motor 1 temp, motor 2 temp, and then we also have motor 1 fault, motor 2 fault, and then we also have a stroke limit switch on the machine. So once the wire saw is at the end of the stroke, it will shut the machine down and light that light, showing that you need to basically make another wrap. The selector switch for the retractor tension, you have a neutral position. Once you hit tension, then the pressure can be adjusted by turning this knob here to give you a desired pressure on the gauge. A good desired pressure to start at is between 15 to 20 psi. This tension can be maintained through the pull. Once I have the machine in tension position at my desired pressure, at that point in time, I'm ready to start the wire. To start the wire, basically I will take the potentiometer and move it to 2 position, and then I'll have one finger on start and one finger on stop. That way, if the wire doesn't start spinning immediately, I can stop it immediately. Start. And then once we get the wire rolling, then we can increase our wire speed. Ideal wire speed is, depending on the conditions, between 18 and 22 meters per second. This is 1 to 10 as far as percentage. So 10 being 100, 1 being 10. So this is 100%.